Very good morning, children. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everything is fine. You're able to hear the sound. You can see the video. It's a real-time class, not a video. So you're not seeing a video. I'm teaching here and then you are listening there. It's a real time. Good morning, children. Very good morning. So there are no chats coming here. What happened? No chats coming here. Chat away. Good morning, children. Can you hear me? Good morning. Are you guys there? Are you guys informed about the class? I'm not able to see you guys. Good morning. How many of you have joined so far in this computer? Only 3 participants. One is me only. You are not informed about the class. Good morning. Good morning, children. Good morning. Information was there about the class. Information was there. Good morning. Okay, so enough wishing, meet and greet. Let's begin now. I have an assignment for you. It's a worksheet. It will be given to you. Now you try to understand the meaning of these terms. Try to understand. Good morning. And I think it is given. Yeah, it is given. Okay. Let me check. That means you got the information on time. Everyone got the information on time. Few people have joined in one computer. Most of you have joined in one computer. Right. Very good. Okay, fine. And the zoology class was scheduled from 11:30 onwards. Very good. So let me begin now. In yesterday's class, in the last half an hour of the yesterday's class, we discussed about the anatomical position of the body, like how we express in anatomy the planes, the position, and the sides, front, back, like that. So anatomical position is a man standing straight and the eyes are forwards and the hands are open. Hands open means the palm is forward like this, open to outside. Right. So this is the ventral part and this is the dorsal part. And the ventral part should be towards the ventrum. And this is the ventrum, tummy, belly. Ventrum means belly. Okay. So this is the ventral part. So it should be in this form only. And so that means thumb is always towards outside in both the hands. You cannot see me. I cannot put the camera down and again up. If I do it, it will be disturbed. That's why I'm just showing it by placing the hand up. This is anatomical position. And all the positions, all the points in the body can be described like that. For example, if anything is going in this side, we are going up. This is up. Now, even if I'm doing Shirsh Asana, even if I am head down and legs up in an asana, even though this will remain up because you have understand it in the anatomical position. Wonderful. Done. Also, if he's not working, just a second, whatever. Seems to be all right. So let me again put it, this is going up. Up means superior. So this is going superior and this is going inferior. Okay, done, wonderful. Now, this side is the front side and this is the back side. Up, down, until superior and inferior. The front side, the front is called anterior and the back is called posterior. So this is anterior and the back side is called posterior. Fine. Anterior, posterior. Now those who know Hindi, they can understand like aage is anterior, A for aage, A for anterior, and piche, backside, piche is P for piche, P for posterior. Anyways, it's not that big deal. So you need to know Hindi to learn this. Anterior, posterior, superior, inferior. 4 terms you have understood. Then the 5th and the 6th term, these are, well, you are going towards the median plane or you are going away from the median plane. So you know there is a median plane. So this line which is dividing my body into 2 equal halves. The line which divides my body into 2 equal halves, equal or antimirrors, mirror images. Equal means antimirrors, mirror images. So the line divides my body into 2 equal halves. This is the median plane. Anything close to the median is medial. Away from the median is lateral. Medial, lateral, medial, lateral. Any side, from right side or left side, because we have the 2 lateral sides, right? This is left lateral, this is right lateral, left lateral, right lateral. Makes sense? Okay. Why I'm not, picking my left hand up, there is some problem there. So that's why I'm just doing it with one hand right now. Okay, done. So right lateral, left lateral, anterior, posterior, superior, and inferior. So far, 6 terms we have understood, right? 6 terms we have understood. Now, belly or the front side, this is the belly side. We have a term for belly called ventrum. Ventrum. So anything towards the belly side is called ventral, and opposite to the belly side is called dorsal. Opposite to the belly side is dorsal. So you have to remember, right? So this is the ventral and that is the dorsal. Generally, animals who are walking on 4 limbs, their bellies are facing the ground. When I did not know the meaning of the word ventrum at that time, when I was too young, first time trying to learn about these ventral dorsal, I remembered that the side facing the earth is the ventral. Earth is Vasundhara. The side facing the earth is ventral and the opposite is dorsal. Then I should not forget this. I always remember B and D. Back is dorsal. Back is dorsal. Now you must be thinking, sir, this side is not facing the earth. Still we are calling it ventral. No, beta, because we are erect. Just imagine we are walking on 4 limbs, our ancestors. We walk on 4 limbs, the newly born baby walk on 4 limbs. And that time, this belly is facing towards the ground. Well, this is not the real meaning of ventral, but this is how you can, when you see an animal, this is how you can make out dorsal and ventral. Understood, guys? Okay. So now the 8th, we have done 8 terms now. So we have got ventral and this is dorsal. Ventral, this whole is ventral and this whole is dorsal. Now, my question to you is true or false? Anterior is equal to ventral. anterior side is equal to ventral in all the conditions, in all the specimens, in all the animals. Come on, come on. Anterior is equal to ventral in all the conditions, in all the animals. In all the animals. And the answer is wrong. It is wrong. It is okay. It is true for human beings. This is anterior, and when we walk on four limbs, so it is the belly side, anterior belly, right? But just imagine a dog is coming to you, and you know that the front side is the anterior. So the dog is coming like this. This is anterior. You will see the two limbs in front. The front is anterior, right? So in that case, anterior is the front side. And this is not the ventral side. This is the ventral side. In the dog, the side facing the earth is the ventral side. Even if we start walking on four limbs, imagine our ancestors. There was a time when humans were not like this. There was no human like what we see today, right? Our ancestors long back used to walk on four limbs. Then they did not walk on four. Then they did not, always remain on four limbs. Then they became erect. But while walking, they have to go on four limbs, and slowly they started. Now they remain almost half up. Not completely erect, they became half up, and then around 1.5 million years, the ancestor of man came, Homo erectus, and that is known as erectus because that was a completely erect like you and me, right? So our ancestors were walking on four limbs. So, okay, anterior is and ventral is same in human beings, but it is not always the same. Okay, understood, beta? Very good. Let me just take your these 5 questions here, and this is to be given to you because answers are not given. I just want to take a review of it, whether you understand these questions or not, so that I can prepare the next worksheet according to that. Now the question is, a plane that separates the body or structure into upper and lower parts is called. A plane that separates the body or structure into an upper and lower part is called. Now this is body. So you will, whenever it is not mentioned, you imagine it to be the human body. If it is not mentioned, take it as a human body, right? So just imagine it to be the human body or structure into an upper and lower part is called, come on, sagittal plane, transverse plane, oblique plane, frontal plane, sagittal, oblique, frontal. Come on, the answer, come on. And the correct, no, better don't write so many answers. I can even see one answer, bacha. What happens then? I cannot read other answers. The whole chat box is filled with your answer, B, 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 B. I know excitation is there, but bacha, no, this is not the way. Just answer once or at max 2 because others are also writing, and I'm having a very small chat box. Okay, children. So a correct answer is B, and the answer is transverse plane. So there is a transverse plane which can divide the body into the upper and lower, Wonderful. Right. Done. Now let's take question number 5. Question number 5 or question number 6 here. The numbering is not because some questions I have taken out from the assignment, and in the night I did not do the numbering. This was made in the night, and then I have shared it. A plane that runs from top to bottom vertical, dividing the body into unequal left and right part is called. Very good, very good. A plane that runs. Now this body is also human body. Let me just see how many of you can do this answer. Come on, beta. Yes, I got the correct answer. I did not expect this much of correct answer. Well, what you need, beta, I'm not able to gauge you guys. I did not expect this answer. Come on, beta, come on, write the answer, write the answer. Write the answer. Yes, correct answer. You are writing the correct answer. And let me tell you, bacha, the correct answer here is the question number 6 we are doing. And they are saying that the plane that divides, that is running from top to bottom. So there is a plane that is running from top to bottom, but it is dividing the body into two unequal left and right parts. Two unequal left and right lateral parts, right? So already we know that there is a plane which is known as the median plane. A median plane divides the body into two equal antimeres. Okay, so this is the median plane. These are equal, right? This is median. And then this is a mid-sagittal, median or mid-sagittal. Median plane.
Papu. Why?
What happened?
6th question explain చేస్తాను ఈ లోపల నేను నన్ను అడుగుతాను నువ్వు చేసేద్దుదా చెప్పు అడుగు ఇది చేసుడు ఇదిరా
How to do this here?
సరే a plane that separates the body or structure into upper and lower part is called
transfer section.
ఆన్సర్ నా దగ్గర నేను ఎక్కడ చూడాలి ఆన్సర్ ఏడ చూడాలి
Yeah, how this mute can be done already. Okay, participants, beta, you can mute yourself. I'm
Mute
not
yourself.
Okay, I'll request now some student there. Bhaiya ye mute karo usko, children are talking. Okay, fine. Now what I heard from that discussion, like we forgot to mute this computer. So they were discussing about the plane that separates the body into upper and lower parts, and then someone answered it's a transverse plane, and then someone said that no, it is the wrong answer. No, but it is the correct answer. It is the correct answer. I just told you it is the correct answer. Okay, done. It's a correct answer. Now come on, let's do this question. This is the mid-sagittal plane or the median plane. Median plane can also be called as the mid-sagittal plane. Mid-sagittal plane, median plane. Okay, and any plane which is parallel to the median but not running from the center, what we should call it? Not running from the center, what we should call it? This is parasagittal. Now when you cut the body through the parasagittal plane, just take any parasagittal plane. Okay, so let me take any parasagittal plane once again, and suppose if you just take this one and try to see what all half you get. So you get one this side which is little smaller, and the other one is the bigger one. What happens that sometimes, you know, if students can't listen properly, and and then, you know, so they give the answer to anyone else, and what the other person may think of the teacher, what he is teaching. Okay, done. So in case of any doubt, it is better you can ask me. Anyways, you can ask anyone, but please listen. Please listen very carefully. If not, then again try to listen. Try to ask me. I will tell it again, okay? And then make any opinion. Bacha, you can see that here the blue and yellow sides, they are not equal, and then we got the answer, right? Unequal left and right parts, and this is parasagittal plane. So the correct answer to question number 6 is C. Correct answer to question number 6 is C. I think it makes sense. Okay, done. And again, I'll just see that question, which was the discussion, and coincidentally, I just heard the discussion because by that time I didn't know how to mute it. A plane that separates the body or structure into an upper and lower part is called, this is known as the transverse plane, transverse. Answer was B, it was transverse plane, okay? Then only we can get an upper and lower part, upper and lower part. You cut it like this, upper and lower parts, done. No matter, let's take question number, let's do this question, this diagram based question, okay? Now here, which plane is indicated in red? Try to see which plane is indicated in red. I think you can make out the red one, okay? So this is the green one, and here this side is a blue one. So blue cut the body into front and back, and this is the red one which cut the body into this and this, okay? Tell me, if I say this and this, you will get the answer. Okay, from my side only, you can think of the answer. What is this red plane called? Come on. What is the red plane called? Red plane, Preeti. Preeti has given the correct answer. Preeti has given the correct answer here. If you don't have any problem in shouting out the name, then I will shout out the name of the people who give the correct answer. And Nishal has given the correct answer, and most of you are giving the correct answer. Option number, that option I don't remember. What was the option? If you want to see the option again, so you can see the option, right? So here we have a coronal plane, sagittal plane, parasagittal plane, and transverse plane. And this one is the sagittal plane. This is the sagittal plane, and particularly as you can make out that this, even the nose is half this side and half that side. So precisely it is a mid-sagittal plane. It is a mid-sagittal plane, and your answer is correct. Let me just take two or three more questions, and then we'll be done. Which plane is indicated in blue? Yes, blue one, blue. You can see what the blue is doing. What the blue line or the blue plane is doing, what two parts we are getting. The blue one, for your help, I can tell you, when you cut the body through the blue one, you get one front side having the chest and the face, and one back side. Come on, what is blue? Blue one is the, yes, please. Blue is the, okay, you want to see the answers again? You want to see the answers? Okay, yes, your answer is correct. The blue one is the coronal plane, coronal. The blue one is the coronal plane, Any other name of the coronal plane? Anyone? Any other name of the coronal plane? Any alternative name of the coronal plane? Coronal, very good, coronal. Yes, please. I give you hint, the name begins with F. The hint is the name, yes, you are right, it is frontal, very good. It is also called frontal plane, also called frontal plane, also called frontal plane, coronal plane, frontal plane. Okay, and what is this plane also known as? Mid-sagittal, What is mid-sagittal also known as? Just now we have done, what is the alternate name of mid-sagittal? Alternate name of mid-sagittal, yes, you are right, it is a median plane, okay? It is a median plane. Mid-sagittal is the median plane, perfect. Now you will be knowing two more terms. After knowing these 8 terms, 2 more terms I want to make you understand in this picture only, right? Now, anything which is going closer to the core body, okay? Anything which is going closer to the core body, because we can say closer to the reference point. So this is known as the proximal, and the one which is away from the reference point is called the distal. Okay. You have heard these names probably in your nephron. You know that the nephron has got the convoluted tubules. Convoluted means folded, coiled like this, coiled tubules. So we have got 2 types of convoluted tubules in the nephron, and the one which is in other place and the one which is in the other place. We cannot have a same name in anatomy. So if the 2 things have the same name, we have to make certain change. So this is also the same convoluted tubule, and this side is also the convoluted tubule. So to differentiate them, we put this as proximal, and that one as the distal, proximal and distal convoluted tubule. Proximal means Samipa, means closer to the point of reference, closer to the point of reference. Those who know Hindi, they can refer it as pass means closer to the point of reference. And in the nephron, the point of reference is this part, the filtering unit, the Malpighian body. From this closer, this is the proximal, and farther than this is called distal, durum distal, closer proximal, proximal is closer and distal is durum, farther, okay. In the same way, we can use this word proximal and distal here to define, to get these points in the body. For example, if I make 2 points, there is a yellow point here and another point of red color. Okay, so I can say that, and my point of reference is my midline. My point of reference is my midline. I can say that the yellow one is proximal to the red one. So the yellow dot is proximal. This is called proximal. It is proximal to this red one. Red one is distal. Red one is distal. In the same way, I can put here, this is my ankle. Yellow will be better visible. This is my ankle and this is my knee. Okay, I can say that the knee is proximal to the ankle. I can say that knee is proximal to the ankle. If I compare knee with the hip joint, if I compare this with the hip joint, I can say that the hip joint is proximal to the knee joint. The hip joint is proximal to the knee joint. In the same way, in the same point, if I say this is my wrist and this is my elbow. So you have to tell me, if I make a statement, you have to complete the statement, okay? So this is the statement, elbow is dash to the wrist. Elbow is dash to the wrist. Complete the statement. So you have to pick one, either you have to pick the proximal or you have to pick the distal, and you know what they mean. Please tell me what shall be the fill up here. Come on, what shall be the fill up here? The reference point of this anatomical position, when you see the whole body, not any part, the whole body. Here the reference point is the median plane. When the whole body is taken, the reference point is the median plane. Well, if only nephron is taken, then the reference point in the nephron is this, where you have the Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus inside. Okay, so guys, I hope now you please give me the answer. There are a few guys here. Please give me the answer. Ratna Kumari, Rajendra Reddy, Ram Sharma. Please give me the answer. Come on. And here so many children are there. I want the answer from you. Come on. And the answer is elbow is proximal. Very good. Elbow is proximal. Elbow is proximal to the wrist. Elbow is proximal to the wrist. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, guys, so that's about the proximal and distal. And so you have learned a couple of terms, and these are antonyms, right? You know, so they are comparative terms like median, lateral, anterior, posterior, superior, inferior, then proximal, distal. These are both comparative. Okay, so which plane is indicated in blue? And the correct answer here is the coronal plane, also called the frontal plane. And here those questions are there. For example, let us see this question. The elbow is dashed to the shoulder. Elbow is dashed to the shoulder. Who will answer? I want people to answer from this side, please. Although the participants are very less, please answer from this side. Okay, I think only one person is there. Please answer. This one. Elbow is dash to the shoulder. Come on, here the answer is, and the correct answer is elbow is distal to the shoulder. Elbow is distal to the shoulder. Let's bring the body back again, okay? So where is the elbow and where is the shoulder? Let me again take it. Guys, here you can see the elbow is here. The elbow is here and shoulder is here. So which is closer? Which is closer? This one is closer. So we can say this is proximal. This is proximal and this one is distal. This is distal. Makes sense? Okay. So I hope this much also clear, proximal, distal. Most of you have given the correct answer in this question. Some of you have given some other answer, but a couple of answers and couple of mistakes, then you will learn to not to repeat any mistake. Okay, now if anyone can think of this one, there is another term here used, another term where we use this term to explain the anatomy. Explain the anatomy, the skin. Question number 6 here on your screen. The skin is dashed to the muscles. So you know the where is the skin in the body and where you know where are the muscles in the body. Okay. So which is deeper and which is superior or superficial? Which is deep or which is superficial? You know the meaning of deep, you know the meaning of superficial also, and medial and anterior. These meanings also you know. And your answer is, come on, I want the answer. Here they gave the correct answer in this side, and the correct answer is skin is superficial, bacha. Skin is superficial. Beta, skin is superficial. Now, all those who thought of anterior, okay, all those who thought of anterior, beta, anterior, this is a tissue. Anterior, how you can say it is anterior? Suppose if you can say that here the skin is anterior, okay? If you see the front of the body, skin is anterior, and just behind that the muscles, okay? But then what about the back? In the back, the skin is posterior and the muscles are. So rather than using anterior and posterior to define these type of tissues, it is better to say deep and superficial. So which is deeper? Muscles are deeper and skin is superficial. Muscles are deeper, skin is superficial. Make sense? Okay. Fine. So do you know the placement of these organs? I'm not expecting too much of correct answer, but if you can give me, it is a bonus to me also. Come on. Yes, beta, tell me. Tejaswini, Preeti. Okay, liver is dash to the heart. So you know the placement of the heart, you know the placement of the heart, and you know the lungs, where we have these lungs, okay? And so here we have the heart. This is a diaphragm, and now this is abdominal cavity. In the abdominal cavity, we have a very big, around 2 kilogram size organ, and this guy is known as the liver, the largest gland of the body, okay? And then this is the heart. I'm writing H for the heart. So heart is superior to the liver. Heart is superior to the liver. So liver is inferior to the heart. Liver is inferior to the heart. If heart is superior to liver, liver is inferior to the heart. Now, one doubt has come, a genuine doubt, I believe. Can you please write that again, so that, because it's what happening that I'm not able to read all these doubts. Question once again, when wrist is proximal to elbow, why is elbow not proximal to shoulder? When wrist is, yes, why not elbow is proximal to the shoulder? Elbow is proximal to shoulder? Who said? Elbow is proximal to the shoulder, bacha. You are right. Who said elbow is? We have a question. Come on, this one. Elbow is dash to the shoulder. Elbow is... You can please not proximal to shoulder when the distance are almost same. No, right now let's compare these organs. Okay, so wrist. Okay, if I say my arm, beta, okay, no offense, I'll just explain it again. So here we have the wrist, okay? Here we have the elbow, and this is the shoulder, and this is the reference point, the median plane. Now, which is closer to the median plane? As you can see, this is closer to the median plane, okay? Closer to the median plane, right? Oh, we don't take distance from, no. Okay. A very genuine question you have. We don't take distance from here like that. The distance is this side only because we don't have any connectivity here. So this will come first, then second station, then the third station. Okay, I understood your doubt now. Yeah. You thought that elbow and midline, even all three are at the same distance. Then why can't we say all three are at the same? No, beta. Actually, we have to say this proximal and distal is basically used to define these things only. When suppose you have to place any points here, right? And you know that this is not the anatomical position. Anatomical position is when the hand is down and the palm is open, and then you have to put and define the two places, right? So if you say that they are lateral, of course both are lateral. Both the places, both the points on the arm are lateral. So how to say which one is, okay? So again, if I place like this, and this man is in the anatomical position, point 1 and point 2 and point 3. All these points are lateral. If the hand is down, they are lateral. So all three cannot be at the same anatomical point because medial and lateral, all three are lateral. So there we have to use another terminology to define their positions, okay? In this case, we will take the distance from the midline, but we will not go directly, right? We have to see the connectivity. So this is connected to this, and then this is connected to this, and then this is connected to this like this. So we can say that among 1, 2, and 3, the proximal most is the 1. And the distal most is the 3, right? We can say that 2 is distal to 1, or 1 is proximal to 2, but 2 is proximal to 3, because if you just see 2 and 3, which one is closer? 2 is closer. So in that case, 2 become proximal and 3 become the distal. 3 will be always be distal, okay? But 2 now become proximal because now we are only comparing 2 and 3. But when we have 1, 2, and 3, so then between 1 and 2, 1 is proximal and 2 is distal, right? I hope you got the answer now. You got the answer. I appreciate it is a very genuine doubt. So very genuine doubt. I appreciate that we have to compare all parts with median plane, right? Absolutely. Okay. The doubt was when we can stand up and this arm is down, in that case, all these 3 points are laterally at the same distance from the midline. Then how come we are using, no, for this only we have to use proximal and distal type of terminology. Dear children, so just 2 more questions and we are done. And 2 more questions. Let's see, which plane is this? Come on, which plane is this? Which plane is this? You have the options like options. I think we have done this question, but then still try. Just write 1, 2, 3, 4. Which plane is this? Answer is correct. Correct answer is 2. And the last one, I want to ask you. The last one I want to ask you is again the plane, the pelvis. The appendix is located, the bones of the skull to protect the brain. Following plane divide the body into anterior and posterior parts. Come on. The last question is question number 18 on your screen. Which of the following planes divides the body into anterior and posterior parts? Anterior and posterior. Again, human body we are referring here. Anterior and posterior parts. Just write 1, 2, 3, 4. Please write only 1, 2, 3, 4 and the correct answer, because if you write 1, 2, 3, 4, you will be very fast and many of you can answer now. Yes, the correct answer is 2. Correct answer is 2, children. And with this assignment discussion in the class is over. Now we will be discussing the assignment when I will be giving you the key of all of them. At that time, if some doubts are there, then we will be discussing. Some of the questions like pelvis, cranium, these are actually not discussed so far, but as the time passes, they are in my agenda and I will be discussing them. So guys, today's topic was transportation. Today's topic was transportation. And transportation in animal is done by the circulatory system. It is done by circulatory system. And parts of the circulatory system, as we know, these are the hearts, the blood vessels, okay? The blood vessels are arteries, veins, and the connecting link of artery and vein, capillaries. So capillaries are the connecting link between arteries and veins. These are the blood vessels. However, transportation is not only of the blood. In our body, you might be amazed to know that there are some other fluid in the body which is also being transported just like that of the blood. And this fluid is not colored. It is colorless fluid. This fluid is colorless. Some places it is little white, but if you take it on a whole, it is colorless. And the name of this fluid is, let me just check. How many of you know the name of this alternate fluid in the body? Come on. This alternate fluid in the body. Yes, Gautam, giving the correct answer. Yes, please. Yes, it is lymph. Yes, it is lymph. Again, more than my expectation. Yes, it is lymph. So there is a lymph also being circulated along with the blood, okay? And so what is the lymph actually? Lymph is nothing but the interstitial fluid. And what is the interstitial fluid? It's nothing but it is what the fluid which is present in the tissues. In the interstitium of the tissues is called interstitial fluid. Let me just give the concept building here and let's use this analogy. Or directly, I will first give you any example of. So any tissue in the body, you know that tissue is a collection of these cells. But mere collection is not enough. These have to be interact among each other so that they can give rise to a common function. It may happen that not all have the same function, but all of them can make a harmony so that the common task can be achieved. In most of the tissues, all the cells are doing the same function. We can say that they are associated, they are interacting, or they are organized. They are organized, they are interacting, they make a harmony, and there is an interaction among these cells. So then we can call it a tissue. Merely some cells are collected, it is not a tissue, right? So this tissue is a collection of cells, but the definition is not complete. A tissue comprised of cells along with the intercellular substances. Please note down, a tissue is not only the cells, but along with the cells, the interstitium. The interstitium contains this fluid. And whatever it is present, suppose in some tissues, calcium salts are present here. That is also part of the tissue. In some tissues, it is a pale fluid, okay? That is also part of the interstitial fluid. This is interstitial fluid. Also, we can call it an extracellular fluid. Extracellular, outside the cell, na? So extracellular fluid. So a tissue is a collection of all this. All these forms are tissue. So far you are done. All this give rise to a tissue. That means, all this means cell plus the interstitial fluid. Interstitial fluid. Now, where from this interstitial fluid has come? A very important thing to know here. Actually, this interstitial fluid is formed from the blood. Blood. Oh, we are a closed circulatory system. Yes, we are a closed circulatory system, but our capillaries are leaky in nature. Although not even a drop of the blood comes out of the system, not even a drop of the blood comes out of the closed circulatory network, but the capillaries in the body, these are leaky, and fluid can leak out, and this is normal. It is not any abnormal leakage, it is a normal leakage. The fluid can leak out of the capillaries, and that fluid can enter and be a part of this interstitial fluid, the yellow one, and from there it again go back to the capillaries. To one side of the capillary it is formed, other side of the capillary it is then gone back, and then again it is returned to the blood. So actually this is transacting with the blood. There is a transaction of this fluid with the blood, and at the level of capillaries, please understand, at the level of capillaries this is happening. Okay, so I hope you understand. This is a tissue fluid formed from the blood, but this is not the complete blood. No, if complete blood fills in the tissue, then it is a disorder. It is a disorder. Complete blood does not fill in these spaces. However, a fluid that can come out of the blood of the capillaries that fills here. But it is like circulated also. It is not that only it is filled, because if it keep on filling, there will be edema, there will be swelling, vapu. Therefore, the fluid is also being returned back. Please understand a very, very important concept I am now telling you. A very important concept to understand here. I think this is, if you can understand this concept, I think this whole class, we can say that the class becomes successful. Right. So I'll show some. If I'm having a whole perspective, it will be better. If I'm having a whole perspective, it will be better. I want to use a very simple diagram, a simplified diagram of this. Okay. Well, we'll try to do with this one. We'll try to do this one. Try to decipher what this picture is revealing. Try to decipher. Try to understand. We can't take out the image directly. Can't we take out the image directly? Yeah. We'll try to take out the image directly. Circulatory system. Okay. And this is good, but the cells are not shown in this picture. This we are trying to take it from this one. We cannot open this picture directly. If we open it, then that page is not opening. Lymphatic system, and the pictures are not there. All the details are there, but the picture, we got that picture. Done. Try to understand this diagram, bacha. Everyone, please try to understand. So there is a circulatory system which is shown in red and blue. Please focus right now only on the red and blue one, right? So we have the arterial system. So we can show the arterial system. So these are the big arteries, and then they divide into small arteries. Those small arteries divide into arterioles, and these are arterioles, further divide into capillaries. So this whole thing is called capillary. So this network, only the red and blue one, not the green one, only red and blue. This is a capillary network, okay? And you can, if you can see the cells here, in light, you can see these cells, and cells in between little space is there, and there is a fluid in that space. The fluid actually arises from these capillaries because these capillaries are leaky in nature. These capillaries are leaky in nature. So what is happening that this fluid is coming out of the capillaries. It's a natural thing. And then the fluid is again entering back into the capillaries. Due to difference in the pressures, it happens. It returns back. Okay, once again, what happens? Due to difference in the pressures, fluid come out of the capillaries, and also it is returned back to the capillaries. Okay, but so when it returns back to the capillaries, again it is part of the venule. This vessel is called venule, then small vein, and ultimately to the large veins in the body, and eventually it is then returned to the right side of the heart. Then again it will go to the lungs after oxygenation. Again it will come back to the left side of the heart, and from the left side it is being pumped out again into the arterial system. So this circulation is happening in the body, and there is a fluid forming from this side and then returning back from this side, forming from this side, returning back from this side. For example, 100 ml formed. For example, 100 ml formed in 1 hour, and only 90 ml returned back into 1 hour. 100 ml being formed and only 90 ml is returned back. So what is happening? There is always some residual fluid. And what this fluid we are calling this as the interstitial fluid or extracellular fluid. We are calling this as interstitial fluid, also called extracellular, because it is outside the cell, extracellular fluid. But some residual, there is some leftover fluid is there. Leftover fluid is there. Bacha, if that leftover fluid does not return back to the blood will lose considerable amount of proteins and considerable amount of WBCs and considerable amount of the WBCs which provide us immunity, and of course fluid. And along with that, there will be vapu, there will be swelling, because the fluid is accumulating, and that part becomes swollen, vapus, edema. And if you want to know what this edema, little edema can do, if you want to know that if you just stop these lymph, if you just stop the draining back of this fluid again to the heart, again to the blood vessels, if it start accumulating slowly in the tissues, you know what can happen? Our limbs, which are this size, they become this size. If you know the disease called elephantiasis, in elephantiasis, the same fluid which I am saying, the 10% roughly, 100 ml form, 90 ml return back, 10 ml left in the tissues. And this 10 ml should be returned back to the circulatory system by some alternate pathway. But what is happening in some people, that alternate pathway is blocked by some roundworms or some, we can say, pathogens, right? And that is the reason it keeps on accumulating slowly, and over the years it becomes big elephant-like limbs, and eventually they became disabled, right? The tissues undergo severe injury and considerable disfigurement occurs. You know the importance of this accumulation inside the tissue. Anytime, whenever you have seen accumulation of the fluid, or whenever you have seen edema, or whenever you have seen the vapu is an indication that the fluid is not returning back, which has to be returned back. It is not returning back at the same rate. Right, you want to just see it, just tie a tourniquet, tie a thick thick rope on the arm, keep it there. You will find that the distal part will start getting swollen. Slowly and slowly you will feel swelling. Some people get swelling in the fingers when they wear any ring which is little tight. They get swelling in the fingers, right? Many people can have that problem, right? So you understand the importance of returning of this. Besides that, the blood will lose its protein, the blood will lose its cells that provide immunity to the body. This fluid which is left here, this is taken up by these capillaries, which are actually blind. Blind means closed at one end. So these are the blind capillaries. These are the blind capillaries. Blind means closed at one. Blind means closed at one end. Okay, these one, the green one. These capillaries collect that extra fluid. They collect the extra fluid, and then that extra fluid goes and return to the venous system. It is returned to the venous system. You can see the large veins in the neck. It is returned to the large veins in the neck. So there is a large veins in neck. In the neck region, this extra fluid which is left actually returns back. And while it is returning back, there are certain filtering stations. There are in the body at different places, at 8 different places in the body. At 8 different places in the body, there are some filtering stations which keep on filtering this fluid which is going. And any extra number of WBCs are being trapped in those stations. And those filtering stations can be called as the nodes. And this fluid is called the lymph, and those can be called as the lymph nodes. So the fluid inside these green capillaries can be called the lymph. But can I call this lymph as the same as interstitial fluid? Can I call this lymph same as the interstitial fluid? Come on. Can I call this as interstitial fluid, the lymph? Come on. Yes, it is interstitial fluid. Perfect. It is interstitial fluid only. It is a leftover. I can say it is a leftover interstitial fluid. Interstitial fluid. It is a leftover interstitial fluid that enter into these green capillaries. No, green are only shown in the diagram. None of them blue, none of them, they all are reddish, right? And this is not green, it is colorless. Yes, they are little whitish in the intestine. They are whitish, milky white in color, but usually they are colorless. Okay, so they are not green, but then in anatomy they are being referred to as green color. Okay, right. So these green colored things that are shown here, they collect this leftover things, and then when that interstitial fluid enters into these capillaries, because these capillaries are called the lymph capillaries, the fluid is called lymph. And this fluid which is passing, the lymph which is passing, it come across 8 groups of filtering stations. And those 8 groups, not 80 number, I am saying 8 groups. I am saying not 80 number, there are hundreds of numbers, 8 groups at 8 different places in the body. They are collected. Many of them are collected at 8 different places in the body, and those filtering stations are known as the lymph nodes. And this type of circulation, we can call it as a middleman of the body. We can call this as the middleman of the body. It is middleman of the body, middleman, like just taking something from here and then going back to here. Taking something from here and just draining it into the venous system. It is a middleman of the body. It is a middleman of the body, the lymph, okay, rightly called lymph. The capillaries can be called as the lymph capillaries. To define them, we can call them, they are blind. Blind means closed at one end. And guys, there is a capillary being shown here, right? This capillary has been shown here. You can see the thin wall of the capillaries, and there is an arrow being shown there right now. I'll tell you what that structure is, but then first of all, let's again have a look at this picture. So you can see that just like all the chordates, they have a closed circulatory system. Chordates have a closed circulatory system. Chordates have a closed circulatory system means that so the blood always remain confined to the vessels. Only that these are leaky, they just exchange in the capillaries, but still the blood remain confined to the blood vessels. This type of circulation is little faster and it is very precise. It is very precise. Okay, you can attain precision. If you want 10% of the fluid more in any organ, you can increase. You can increase 5% of the blood in an organ. You can do that by contraction and relaxation of these blood vessels. We can maintain that. So that will be taught to you once again. But then, guys, let me tell you, so these red color things, which are the arteries, they are coming out of the left side of the heart. The left side of the heart, the left ventricle, which is the pumping point where these come out, the blood comes out. The left ventricle is a very strong chamber, very strong muscles are there. When the muscles contract, the blood just gushes out with very high pressure. The blood just gushes out with very high pressure, and the blood then moves in these arteries without any problem. The blood is just moving. But by the time the blood enters these capillaries, the pressure comes down. The pressure comes down by the time the blood enters into these capillaries. Because what is happening, a big artery is divided into smaller arteries. So the blood is divided and then further divided, and you can see here how much they are divided. At the level of capillaries, the pressure is very down. After that, the entire system, there very little pressure is there. So as such, no one is pushing the blood, no one is pumping the blood. There has to be some alternate arrangements so that this blood can go back to the heart. And the alternate arrangements in the body are the muscles. The muscles contract. So the muscle here, maybe a muscle, I'll show a muscle contraction, a muscle here and a muscle there, a muscle here and a muscle there. Okay, when these muscles contract and relax, they generates a pumping thing in the blue color thing, which is the the blood in the veins, the blood in the veins. So the muscle contraction help in this pumping of this. The posture of the body also help. The posture of the body also help. And one very, very important thing that help are the structures inside, which are known as the valves. The structures inside which are called the valves. Now, valves are the structure that maintains unidirectional flow. Valves are the structure that maintains unidirectional flow, dear children. So what is happening? Suppose the blood is going up. When the blood is going up, right? Suppose by a push of any muscle, the blood has just moved up. Okay, so the blood is here, the blood is here, this blood has moved up, the blood has here, right? And now the muscle relaxes. So when the muscle relaxes, the blood has to go down. Due to gravity, it has to come down, right? To prevent it to come back again, right? To prevent it to come back again, these valves play a very important role. So they will only allow the blood to move in one direction, but due to gravity, if the blood tries to return back, then they prevent it to return back. Arteries do not require this much because arteries have very high pressure of blood. It is only required in the veins. And also you can see in the picture, in the green color vessels, which are the lymph vessels, again, because again the pressure in the lymph vessel is very, very low. The pressure in the lymph vessels is even lower than that of the veins. And that is the reason you will find these valves inside the lymph vessels also. So both the lymph vessels and the veins, both of them have got internal valves. Let me tell you, this is a very important question for the NEET UG. A very important question for the NEET UG. that the internal valves are present inside the veins and also inside the lymphatics. Lymphatics means the lymphatic the lymphatic vessels. When lymphatics, just the word lymphatics, it means it is referring to the lymph vessels. Dear children, so you have got an arterial system, you have got a venous system, and you have got a lymphatic system. So these type of circulations are happening in the body and they are helping in transportation. They're helping in transportation. This heart is a main pumping station. The heart is a main pumping station. Now I want to interact with you to ask you a question. And my question to you is, who discovered the closed circulatory system? Come on. Who discovered the closed circulatory system? Who discovered the closed circulatory system? Very good. So Manasa Reddy has given the correct answer and many people are now answering correctly. You all know it very, very well. It is William Harvey. Perfect answer. William Harvey, he discovered the closed circulatory system. William Harvey discovered the closed circulatory system. Perfect. Another question. Now this is little higher. I am accepting. It is little higher. Because even the grown-up children, if I ask, even if grown-up children, if I ask, then also I don't expect even the grown-up children who are just about to enter the medical college to answer it. All of them can answer correctly. I am not expecting it. My question is, can I say that the lymphatic circulation is an open circulation, or the lymphatic circulatory system is an open circulatory system? Can I say lymphatic circulatory system is an open circulatory system? Come on. I'm having, this is my water break, and I suggest you also to take a water break. Everyone should keep a sipper near you, right? A sipper, a water bottle near you, and time to time, I will be showing myself also, so you will be reminded. Time to time, you can keep on taking water. The more water you take, the less disease you will have in your body. So this is a free of cost treatment, not a treatment, in fact, a vaccination, a prevention against diseases. Believe me, it is not the time right now to tell you what diseases can be controlled, but many diseases can be controlled by keeping yourself hydrated. Besides, it will keep the brain all right. It will keep the brain functioning perfectly well. It will keep the skin glowing perfectly well, and it will take out toxins from the body, and it will not cause any urinary tract infections, which are very common. Particularly people, those who are going out, they are going out and using the public urinals, okay, or the common urinals in colleges, schools there. So you will not have the urinary tract infection if you keep on drinking this water too much, okay? So keep on drinking. There is no harmful effect of over drinking of water, but certainly under drinking can be dangerous, okay? So please, this is a water break to you also, and let me come again to see the answers. Right now, I'm very away from the screen, so even if you write the answers, I may not be able to see them. Yes, guys. Again, the question, yes, please. Is it a closed system or an open system? What happened? Zoom quit unexpectedly.
Recording in progress.
Zoom quit unexpectedly. Are you guys, can you see me? I'll call the technician. Oh, problem हो रहा है Zoom में. ये quit unexpectedly. वो छोटा छोटा दिख रहा है वहां पर ऊपर स्क्रीन में, टॉप लेफ्ट। डबल क्लिक कर दो। ओके, और एक बार चैटिंग स्टार्ट कर दो, चैटिंग। Okay, I can't hear you, sir. Sir, what is Wiener system? Okay, wonderful. What is Wiener system? Siva, I'll tell you, but then first of all, can you hear me? Is it going well? Yeah, fine. So can I call that system as a open or closed system? Okay. If I call it an open system, am I right or wrong? Or just answer from your side. The lymphatic system is a closed system or an open system? And the correct answer is the lymphatic system is an open system. It is not necessary that an open system should be in open spaces. It is not necessary that an open system should be in open spaces. Here, the concept of an open and a closed circulatory system is this one, that in a the concept is like in a closed circulatory system, there is a closed loop. A closed loop, for example, you know that the heart is pumping the blood and the arteries, they carry the blood to the tissues. And again, there is a capillary loop here, a capillary loop. Arteries bring the blood to the tissues. There is a capillary loop here. Again, I can show the venous system here. So the venous side of the capillary loop here, okay? And so by and large, we can show this by this simple structure that is shown here. And we can show the capillaries. The venous side of the capillaries. Same way, the venous side of the capillaries. We have to show the heart also here. We have to show the heart also here. Okay, so I'm not showing the lungs here. I'm just showing the heart and the two type of blood vessels. I'm just showing that. I'm showing you the heart. So this is, you can imagine it to be heart, the pumping station, okay? And just one capillary bed I have shown. So the heart is pumping the blood into these arteries, and the veins, they drain the blood back into the heart. These are the veins that drain the blood back to the heart. So this is the heart, the pumping station. The blood comes through this direction in the arteries and then divide into further smaller arteries and eventually to arterioles and then into capillaries. And from here, the fluid is actually draining or leaking out of these capillaries. And same, the fluid is also returning back. The fluid is returning back, but some amount of fluid is left in the tissues. So where we can show the tissues, so this actually is a tissue. These green color structures that you can see, these are the cells. So the fluid that returns back here then is collected by the venules and then by the smaller vein to the larger vein and then ultimately to the great veins and then to the heart. In this pathway only, the blood enters into the lungs where the exchange of gases takes place. We have ignored that. We have only shown you the circulatory pathway. This is an arterial system, which the blood is being pumped into arterial system. Now, why I'm calling it a system? Because this one tube is only in this diagram. But there are hundreds of arteries. When the big artery divided into smaller arteries, hundreds of arteries are there. And those arteries further divide into hundreds of arterioles. An example to you, there is one artery called renal artery, renal. This artery enters into the kidneys. Inside the kidneys, it divides into 1 million. How many? 1 million. Precisely 1.1 million arterioles. So you can imagine that one artery divides into smaller arteries, into further smaller arteries, and ultimately to these arterioles. These arterioles then further they form the capillary network. So one artery makes 1.1 million, more than 10 lakhs. You understand the point, beta? So many of them, the big network, we are calling it an arterial system. In the same way, these venous system means collecting the blood from the tissues, from all the tissues, and then most of them they're joining, they form the bigger one, the bigger ones join to form the ultimate, the great ones. The great ones are called vena cava. We call them vena cava. So vena cava means great veins. Vena cava. Vena cava. Vena cava means great veins. They become so big, they are called great veins. Great veins. Right? In the same way, there is a great artery. There is a great artery called aorta. Aorta, the great artery. It divides into smaller arteries, smaller into further smaller arteries. Okay, and then into arterioles, and arterioles into capillaries. So this is just one circuit I have shown. In the same way, there are thousands and thousands of circuits operating. But the basic ethos is this only, that coming into arteries, going into the tissues, coming back into the veins, these capillaries, and then drain back through the veins. So I'll call it a vein here. I'll call it an artery here. Artery. These are the cells of the tissues, the cells of the tissues. And here we have the interstitial fluid. Here is the interstitial fluid, and this capillary system actually leave some of the fluid into the tissues only. It does not take back 100% of the fluid that comes out. It does not take back 100% of the fluid that comes out. So that leftover fluid from the tissues is being picked up by another system, and this system begins as the blind capillaries, and eventually it is forming part of the bigger system, and then ultimately it drains back into the veins, particularly the great veins, or I should call them the large veins of the neck. Okay, I'll show them little here. While going back, it come across different groups in the body, different places of lymph nodes are there. So lymph nodes are there, which are the filtering stations present at 8 different parts, 8 different places in the body. So many of them, thousands of them, or thousands of the lymph nodes, but present in 8 groups. So guys, this is called lymphatic system. This is the lymphatic vessel, and inside the fluid is called lymph. And when it was in the tissues, I used to call it as tissue fluid, or there is another name of it, or interstitial fluid, interstitial fluid, or I could call it as extracellular fluid, or I can call it as extracellular fluid, tissue fluid, or interstitial fluid, or extracellular fluid, all means the same. And when that leftover comes into the lymph vessel, we start calling that fluid as lymph. And ultimately, the lymph also returns back into the blood vessels, into the veins. Now, generally in the blood, you can see that there is a closed loop. The blood vessels form a closed loop. The blood vessels form a closed loop. However, However, the lymph vessels only drain the fluid from the tissue spaces to the large veins, two sides, right and left, to the large veins of the body. Blood vessels form a closed loop. However, the lymph vessels only drain the fluid from the tissues or tissue spaces to the large veins. So this is not forming a closed loop, and that is the reason, therefore lymph circulation is not forming a closed loop. Therefore, lymph circulation is not forming a closed loop. Hence, it is called an open system. Hence, it is called an open system. It is not a closed system. It is an open system. So guys, and if I ask you, you have options of the vessels. For example, you have options like artery, vein, capillaries. You have got the lymphatics. Okay. If I ask you, which are the two vessels which have internal valves? Okay. My question is, vessels having internal valves are. Question is, vessels having internal valves are, your options are: number one, arteries; number two, veins; number three, capillaries; and number four, lymphatics. Okay, and your options are A, B, C, and D. These are your options. Okay, so options are 1 and 4. Options are 2 and 3, 2 and 4, and 1 and 3. Come on. Your options are A, B, C, D. Option bolo. No, don't write too many answers, beta. I know you got the correct answer. And yes, I really appreciate that, your correct answer. But if you write too many of them, I'm not able to read the other options, other answers. Correct answer is C. And I told you it is a very important question. And another question is, which of the above vessels have the blood in highest pressure? So highest pressure of the blood, highest pressure of blood, highest blood pressure, I call it. Highest blood pressure can be found in, highest blood pressure can be found in, and here you have the same. A, B, C, D are 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D are 1, 2, 3, 4. Highest blood pressure can be found in, come on. Highest blood pressure can be found in highest blood pressure. Why you are writing D? Huh? Highest blood pressure. Oh. Capillaries. Highest to nahi hoga beta. High can be there, but highest cannot be there. Okay. Why you are not answering this question well? Answer from your perspective, not the human physiology, medical college class 1 or first year. Not from that perspective. Answer from your basic perspective. Okay. So this I'm giving you. So I'll ask this question tomorrow once again. And well, another thing is another question is capillaries. Capillaries have a single-celled wall. Still they are not ruptured when blood flows through them. When the blood flows through them, why can't they get ruptured? They have only a single cell wall, a very thin wall, squamous cells, a single celled wall, very thin wall. Why they are not ruptured? Why they don't rupture? Why they don't break? Why they don't get punctured? No, that capillaries, those leakiness is natural one. Those are the intercellular pores. That is okay. But otherwise, why don't they get ruptured? Okay. So again, you can just think of the answers to this question. Well, because I got the signal that the time is over and you guys might be hungry. Okay. What is the fabric? What was fabricae? Fabricae. I don't know what is fabricae. Fabricae. You are taking a test, you just open any website, okay, and alternatively you can try reading something and just try to check. Let us see, because we are reading from him from the first time. Let us see how much he knows. Okay, good. No, but beta, see the purpose of for you, the purpose, the reason for that you have joined the course. Okay, it is not that you want to check a particular thing of the teachers here. Okay, if you think of that whether they will be capable enough or not, obviously these doubts may be there in the mind. In that case, think of are they teaching for the first time, or how many years they are working, what is their work experience, and how many generations of the doctors they have produced. 1, 2, every year approx how many doctors they are producing, like that. See, the great teacher is not the one who give you hi-fi fundas. With experience, what I learned that if you make the things easiest way, then it can be easily assimilated, not for you. You are kids, even for us. Therefore, so these days you will find a lot of YouTube videos are there and a lot of knowledge is present there. And because like the financial knowledge, there was a time when the terms were too difficult for us. We are from the medicine line, so we don't have any idea about these, never read about them. Okay, so we always see those videos who is giving the matter in the easiest one. And remember, it is financial advice. It is not that he's teaching some duffers. It is not like that. We have to follow his advice and then we have to plan our finances. But still, we follow the person who is most simple in the language. You know, Khan sir? Khan sir is a teacher from Bihar, and he is a teacher having millions of followers. And not only the students, there are many other non-students also the followers of. He is, I think, over 5 million or so views and subscribers on the YouTube. And he is from a village. He speaks like the normal desi person, but his thing is he makes the thing very easy. You might not be aware of him because of the the language, because he's only using, and that too not only Hindi, he's using the desi Hindi. the rural Hindi, right? So probably, but what I'm telling you that do not get allured by some hi-fi fundas, right? We require a trick. Okay, just tell me, just one question, and then you will switch off the video. My question is, fast or pace bowler. So many of you are following the IPL, and many of you fascinated by the pace bowling. Now, the pace bowling means you have to throw something with very high force, right? Now, if you have people with very high arm strength, from beginning they are just developing their arm strength, they can just move this arm with very high force. They can throw the ball with very high force. Can they become the bowlers in cricket? No, they cannot become. Otherwise, all the bodybuilders will be doing the batting and bowling. What is required is a trick, a pattern, a line and length. And also, if you want to know the importance of the trick, you know the bowling game, there is a game called bowling where there is a ball, a plastic or some fiber ball is there, and there is a small depression there. Through that you can just hold it with the finger, and you have to roll the ball in a track, and ultimately at the other end of the track, some targets are there. They can be fallen very easily. You just touch them, they fall. And the ball touch them, and many of them, because they are too close, they fall. And actually, the targets at the end, they usually remain unattacked because the ball, the track is too wide. There is a trick of this, and the trick of this is, of course, the trick we have to learn only then. If you throw the ball with very high force, let me tell you, you will be disqualified. Disqualified because the ball will run away from the track and you will be disqualified and maybe fined. If anyone got hurt or anything happened, maybe fined. Not the strength, but a trick required, a trick to throw the ball, and that can hit many of the targets in such a way that it hits the target from the side, and while moving little lateral, it can hit all the targets. Those targets can hit other targets, and you will win the game. I hope you understand. So these days you have got a lot of things on the YouTube and online, and everything is so fast, right? You can keep a video in front of your mobile phone where you can just do Googling and all, and you can come to know about the things, right? But rather than using hi-fi things, try to know what is required for the test. I know that the NCRTs are very, very basic. If you go in the first year of medical college, the books that you read, and again, if you think of the NCRT, you will think that many of the things are not given correctly even. Many things are not correct with respect to the real sciences, real body physiology, anatomy. Many things are not correct. And so basic. And we have cleared an examination by reading that small thing, very basic. And now we are expected to read all sorts of tough, bulky books. Right? So how justified is this? No. This is not the time to learn many things or to learn to develop your knowledge too much. No. We are into a competition. It is a game, like a bowling game only. And you have to hit all the targets, and speed is not required. Trick is required. So what that NCRT can do, a physiology book cannot do. People are asking questions on Guyton. There was a time when, before this online thing, when online was too much prevalent, then the people just Google. Otherwise, they used to bring the medical book, some Akka Anna in the house, they have a book, and then they bring those to the teacher. And they also read them. No, it's not that they don't ask, they read them, they try to grab the things, and 10% only they understand that too, not clearly. It's not that easy, right? And what they are doing, they are wasting their time. and they are just making their chances of getting a seat lower and lower, right? What a needle can do, a sword cannot. Again, what a needle can do, a sword cannot. God bless. God bless you, all of you. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, beta. God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye. Remember what a needle can do. Yes, some use web Zoom. What is this, Pawan? Pawan, what is this? What this link is for? God bless Neha. God bless Azam. Kaushik, bye-bye. God bless. Pawan, Pawan, you have shared one link. What is that link for? Aarti, God bless you, beta. Pranavi, God bless Pranavi. Bye-bye. What is that link for? Jaideep, bye-bye, Jaideep. Okay, I'll read the name correctly. This is Arifa. Oh, Arifa, lovely name. Bye-bye, beta. Bye-bye. Take care. Rajinder, God bless you, Rajinder. Bye-bye. Yes, you are right. Skill is required. Yes. And skill is not only power. Skill is not only power. Okay. Bhavya, God bless you, beta. Thank you so much for praising me. God bless you, beta. Real examples can give us the right direction. Right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Bye-bye. Okay, so now I'm asking the technician to disconnect this because it's the last class. And so bon appetit. Tomorrow I'll be asking what does this mean? Bon appetit. What is the phrase bon appetit means? Right. Okay, bye-bye.